Globally, 1 in 3 women and girls experience violence in their lifetime, and every 3 hours, one of them does not make it. This is driven by the law, status, and power of women and girls, patriarchal norms, and social norms that regard the use of violence as acceptable constructions of masculinity that emphasize control and dominance over women, and high levels of exposure to abuse and emotional trauma. It is exacerbated by poverty, problematic alcohol use, and limited political and institutional will to prevent and respond to violence. This number has remained unchanged for at least the past decade, while we know that violence is preventable. Femicide is a violation of the basic human rights to life, liberty, and personal security, as well as an obstacle to social and economic development. There is need for urgency around this issue. "855 women and 243 children were killed between April and June 2022 in South Africa. In 3 months, 1,098 women and children were killed in South Africa. Women and children make up 18% of the 6,424 murders, with 13% being women in South Africa. The issue of violence against women and girls has exacerbated during COVID-19. Communities need to have a zero-tolerance approach to crimes against women and children. About 47,000 women and girls worldwide were killed by their intimate partners or other family members in 2020. This means that, on average, a woman or girl is killed by someone in their own family every 11 minutes. Women and girls in all regions across the world are affected by this type of gender-based violence. Violence against women and girls fundamentally undermines their health and well-being and stands as a barrier to women's full participation in global development, the economic and civil life of their communities. Certain groups are more vulnerable to femicide, that is, Indigenous women, Black women, and women with disabilities. Violence against women and girls is endemic in every country and culture, causing harm to millions of women and families. This has been amplified by the COVID-19 pandemic, climate change, and conflict. We can only fight it with deep-rooted and sustained efforts by governments, communities, and individuals to change harmful attitudes, discriminatory laws, gaps in policies, and to improve access to opportunities as well as services for women and girls, and foster healthy and mutually respectful relationships. A world without violence is possible, and this demands unparalleled courage and joint action to make this vision a reality. Inerela Plus's aim for a more peaceful world will only be achieved if women are protected and their fundamental right to security is recognized. There has to be a shift in culture. We must have conversations about systems that are in place that reinforce gender norms and harmful practices which allow violence against women and girls. Inerela Plus's work is guided by the organization's global strategy, Faith in Action, that transforms lives not only during the 16 days of activism, but all year round, from 16 to 365 days of activism, through comprehensive and inclusive approaches that tackle the root causes, transform social norms, and empower women and girls. We partner with governments, UN agencies, civil society organizations, and other institutions to deliver results through multidisciplinary interventions that include prevention of violence against women and girls, focusing on early education, respectful relationships, and working with men and boys. In line with the 2030 Agenda, we adopted the principle of leaving no one behind by investing in prevention programs that end GBV, harmful practices that empower girls and women to claim their rights. We implement comprehensive sexuality education that addresses gender inequality, gender roles, GBV, and the rights of young people to seek services and justice. We involve and encourage boys and men in efforts to change unequal gender norms, increase societal understanding of GBV, and prevent violence against women at all levels. Prevention is still the most cost-effective, long-term way to stop violence. We spearhead engagement with religious leaders and change agents to tackle gender inequalities and gender-based violence globally. Faith leaders and change agents play a key role in facilitating access to survivor-centered essential services across policing, justice, health, and social sectors. They shape norms and practices, as well as change these when leading to injustices. Religious leaders, including female faith leaders, play a key role in shifting from discriminatory and violent gender norms and practices that condone gender injustice to positive norms that uphold equal rights without gender-based violence. Religious leaders provide information to victims and survivors, as well as collect data that strengthen life-saving services, prevention, and response to violence against women and girls. Through religious leaders, we have worked to defend human dignity by addressing human rights from an ethical and theological perspective. Faith leaders are part of the solution in our advocacy work for gender justice. Inerela Plus capacitates religious leaders who work as our role models to advocate for policy change and to end gender-based violence at national, regional, and global levels. Violence against women is preventable. The faith-based sector has an important role to play through providing safe spaces and care to women subjected to violence. They are also an entry point for referring women to social support services they may need. That's what we say, today and every day, to violence against women and girls. Until we end it, we must provide everything women and girls need to survive and recover, from physical and mental health care to legal aid and support for regaining livelihoods. We are positioned now to make a real difference to women and girls' lives, and it is imperative that we seize the moment and move forward with impact. Do you want to keep the conversation going with other civil society, women's rights organizations, and Inerela Plus? Follow us on our Twitter and Facebook pages to receive updates and advocacy materials that will be released in the coming months. Learn, collaborate, and co-create in the field of ending violence against women and girls.